It has become necessary to request the Senate to consider and approve the 2022 to 2024 External Preparation Bill to a joint session of the National Assembly.
...2024 Appropriation Bill set to be presented by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for consideration and approval by a joint National Assembly. Vice President Shatima champions re-engineering manufacturing sector as a backed fellow of the Nigerian Society of Engineers.
The issue of separating the office of the Attorney General and Minister of Justice or the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, as the case may be.
Plus, anti-corruption crusade. Attorney General of the Federation meets State Attorneys General. Hello and a warm welcome to NTA Network News at 9. I am Ian Ray John and we're live in Abuja. Higido John Adams joins me from Lagos. Thank you for joining us. President Bola Tinubu will this Wednesday present to a joint session of the National Assembly the proposed 2024 Appropriation Bill for consideration and approval. A communication to that effect was read by the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, during plenary. National Assembly correspondent Lamiali reports.
I crave the indulgence of the Senate to grant me the slot of 1100 hours on Wednesday, the 29th day of November 2023, to formally present the 2024 Appropriation Bill to a joint session of the National Assembly.
Aside the request to submit to the National Assembly Nigeria's pending proposal for 2024, President Tinubu also communicated the Senate seeking approval of federal government's abridged 2022 to 2024 external borrowing rolling plan of $8.69 billion and 100 million euros. The amounts are to be deployed to address huge infrastructure deficit for the development of the country.
The projects and programs in the borrowing plan were selected based on positive technical economic evaluations, as well as the expected contribution to the socio-economic development of the country, including employment generation to improve the livelihood in all the 36 states of the Federation, including the Federal Capital Territory.
Another request to the lawmakers by the executive is the 61.5 billion naira 2023 statutory supplementary budget for the Federal Capital Territory Administration. Senate has approved the 2023 budget of the Nigeria Police Trust Fund amounting to 57 billion naira as contained in the harmonized report submitted by the Senate Committee on Police Affairs.
The NPTF should expedite action on the implementation of the 2023 budget for the enhancement of policing and tackling the security challenges for the benefit of the nation and its citizenry.
Meanwhile, Senate has confirmed the appointments of chairman and members of the Federal Civil Service Commission following the screening and recommendation of the Senate Committee on Establishments and Public Service Matters.
The committee has established both in fact and in law that all the nominees have satisfied the requisite legal requirements and are hereby affirmed.
The bill to establish Federal University of Technology Ekiti was read for the third time and passed, while the bill to establish Federal University of Health Sciences and Technology, Zamfara State, sponsored by Senator Ikera Bilbis, passed second reading.
This upgrade will help to produce medical professionals to replace the ones who led for greener posture.
To drive our medical sector so that the number of people that will be going out in the future to seek medical attention will be substantially reduced.
Senate has adopted a resolution to investigate activities of the Pension Fund Administration following allegations of corruption in pensions payments as moved by Senator Kelvin Chuku. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
Meanwhile, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will on Wednesday depart Abuja for Dubai, United Arab Emirates, to attend the COP28 Climate Summit, also known as the 28th United Nations Climate Change Conference. A statement by the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Ajuri Gelali, says that the World Leaders Summit, which will take place on December 1st and 2nd, 2023, under the theme Unite, Act and Deliver, adding that the President will deliver Nigeria's stance on various thematic issues, including renewable energy and climate financing. While in Dubai, the President will also focus on holding businesses and institutions accountable, reflecting Nigeria's dedication to sustainable and responsible practices with active participation in key sideline events. Now, taking a look at the manufacturing sector, Nigeria has the capacity of being a $1 trillion economy within the next 3 decades. But this can only be achieved if the country can re-engineer its manufacturing sector. And this formed part of the issues raised by the Vice President of Nigeria, Kashim Shettima, at the conferment of fellow Nigerian Society of Engineers on him and other outstanding Nigerians at the ongoing 2023 conference of Nigerian Society of Engineers. Ekene Ondulwe reports.
It is a gathering of engineers from all over Nigeria, and they are concerned with enhancing Nigeria's economic growth by improving the manufacturing sector. Vice President of Nigeria, Kashim Shettima, who represented President Bola Tinubu at the ceremony, is not unaware of the challenges facing the manufacturing sector, and he recounted ongoing measures to tackle the problem, including a major tax reform. He is elated with his investiture as Honorary Fellow, Nigerian Society of Engineers.
The Presidential Committee on Fiscal Policy and Tax Reform, we inaugurated in August, we did a comprehensive reform of our tax landscape, has already submitted the citizen reform, and is working on the next stage of this matter. Our goal is to see Nigeria as citizens, while also increasing the burden of individuals and citizens.
Also conferred with fellow Nigerian Society of Engineers are the Minister of Niger Delta Development, Abubakar Momo, and the Governor of Nasarawa State, among others, for their contributions to the engineering sector in Nigeria.
This recognition, we still want to do more, and particularly when we now find ourselves in the Niger Delta Ministry. We also collaborated with the Nigerian Society of Engineers in order to mitigate the effect of climate change in that region.
There are high expectations from the conference, and these stakeholders are confident that the week-long engagement will provide needed solutions to enhance manufacturing in Nigeria. Ekene Ndulwe, NTA News.
The House of Representatives has adopted a motion to admit President Bola Ahmed Tinubu into the Green Chamber for the purpose of presenting the proposed 2024 budget to a joint session of the National Assembly. Correspondent Matari Ikpe reports that the House also received the President's request for approval of the 2022 to 2024 external borrowing plan.
Following receipt of President Tinubu's request, the Green Chamber unanimously adopted a motion to receive the 2024 budget estimates as part of the quest to sustain the January to December budget cycle.
This House do admit into the chambers the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and other dignitaries on Wednesday, 29th November 2023 to receive the 2024 budget estimate.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it.
Among 3 letters from the President was a request seeking approval of the federal government's 2022 to 2024 external borrowing rolling plan to obtain abridged loan facilities of $8.69 billion and 100 million euros.
In the face of dwindling financial resources, it has become imperative that we resort to prudent external borrowing to bridge the financial gap which will largely be applied to key infrastructure projects, including power, railway, health, among others.
An executive bill seeking the issuance of 61.5 billion naira from the Federal Capital Territory Administration Statutory Revenue Fund for crucial projects scaled second reading, while the House passed a bill for an act to establish the Agency for National Ethics and Values Compliance.
The House is accordingly invited to note that a number of infrastructural projects with potential to improve ease of transportation, provide gainful employment, and ensure impact on FCT residents have been identified by the Honorable Minister.
Also adopted was a motion seeking collaboration to prevent violence against women and girls.
To name and shame perpetrators of violence against women and girls, thus holding accountable individuals who commit acts of violence.
The House in plenary congratulated a former lawmaker, Sam Onwigbo, on his recent recognition as a global leader on climate change. From the National Assembly, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
And away from the National Assembly now to consolidate on achievements recently recorded in Kogi State. The incoming administration must set the right course by evolving and implementing policies that prioritize the empowerment of women and youths in the state. Nigeria's First Lady, Oluremi Tinubu, offered this counsel when she received in audience the Governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello, and the Governor-elect of the state, Ahmed Usman Ododo, at the Villa. Congratulating Dojo for their victory at the November 11 gubernatorial election in the state, the First Lady says education and empowerment of women remains crucial in the development mix. The visit, according to Governor Bello, is to appreciate the First Lady for standing with Kogi State during the electioneering period, supporting the process with prayers and wise counsel. He says as he hands over the baton in January, the new administration is poised to deliver a quicker pace of development.
So I am in the next administration and in the near future, I am seeing Kogi to be trailing behind, if not overtaking, Lagos in terms of development. And that is why we are emulating and following the footsteps of our President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
See, in Kogi State today, all the vice chairpersons, they are all women. The SSG, all through his tenure, for second term, is a woman. The head of service is a woman, and so many of them. And what we are coming to do is to consolidate on his achievement, and that is part of his achievement. And of course, I'm coming to build on his legacies. We build on legacies, we don't destroy. Thank you.
That was the governor and governor-elect of Kogi State there. Now, the issue of Air Nigeria has come to the limelight again, with the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Management, Festus Keyamo, clarifying that the fate of the national carrier will depend on the decision of President Bola Tinubu after his consideration of the report on the contract with Ethiopian Air. Fielding questions from State House correspondents, Keyamo revealed that there are issues that require clarifications and final decision of the president before the commencement of operations or otherwise. The minister said in reaction to the concerns raised by Nigerians and the National Assembly, his ministry has conducted a thorough investigation and found out some questionable clauses in the agreement.
But just to say that it would have been irresponsible of me as minister to take over office, and I feel the pulse of Nigerians. I feel even the National Assembly raised concerns over that, and so many stakeholders. It would have been irresponsible to close my eyes totally to those concerns. So because of that, we suspended it to say, let's just look at all the issues and recommend. Now we have looked at all the issues, and it's before Mr. President. But let me just give one or two snippets because of Nigerians who are, who are quick to judge. In the agreement, you are giving tax waivers to Ethiopian airline coming into Nigeria. They asked for tax waivers for 5 years, and you granted them to come and compete with your local airlines who are paying those heavy taxes. How? You want to create a monopoly. That's why when they tell you that, oh, we want to crash price by 70%, it's a lie. It's robbing Peter to pay Paul. Because they have removed all taxes from you and you granted them to the tax waivers. And initially, oh, they will crash prices. Once you drive every other person out of the market, you now have a monopoly that you can hike it 500%. Nobody there to challenge you. In the agreement, they also made, a proposal that they will appoint everybody, top management, everybody Ethiopian in Nigeria. And we agreed.
If you just joined us, you're watching the Network News at 9. Time for a break. Please stay. Welcome back. How much of Nigeria do you know? Well, while you ponder on that question, let me inform you that you can certainly find out more fascinating facts in Nigeria, visualized in a book compiled by the United Nations that contains data visualization of Nigeria. Now, this compendium has been formally launched in Abuja by the Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, Atiku Bagudu. Muplang Dakok will tell us more.
Nigeria, a beautiful and highly diverse country, has so many stories to tell with intriguing figures and pictures. It is in an effort to tell these stories and trail the changes that have occurred over the years that the UNDP, in collaboration with the Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning and the National Bureau of Statistics, put together a visualization of selected data to offer the reader a comprehensive and insightful journey of Nigeria.
Today, we embark on a journey to witness the power of data, advanced data visualization to reshape and sharpen our understanding of Nigeria's dynamic transformation.
This novel addition to what will no doubt give more access and information about Nigeria, especially for a generation on the go.
With over 40 data visualizations, the Nigeria Visualized Web Platform is a beacon of progress.
This initiative harnesses the power of advanced data visualization techniques to unravel the narrative of our nation's journey over time.
Information in the book, which is also on the web, include population, land size, and trending topics in Nigeria, among others. In Abuja, Muplang Dakok, NTA News.
Many thanks, Muplang. And due to the importance that has been attached to the rule of law as the guiding light of the society, attorneys general across the country are meeting to fine-tune the process of achieving legal aid and prosecution of the anti-corruption fight. This is at a meeting in Abuja with the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi, SAN. Olabode Arewa reports.
At the inception of the current administration, President Bola Tinubu signed into law the Nigeria Data Protection Act 2023, lending the necessary legal muscle to safeguard personal and corporate data. Legal practitioners have noted that this law and others, like the Administration of Criminal Justice Act of 2015, are positively adapting the nation's justice system to current social realities. And the General Council of the BAS meeting is addressing issues associated with deepening ongoing judicial reforms.
That issue is the issue of separating the office of the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, or the Attorney General and Commissioner of Justice, as the case may be. So as we embark on another round of constitutional amendment, it behoves on this body to come up with the position on whether to separate these two offices.
We must also focus on addressing the root causes of crime and poverty, inequality, and social exclusion.
Lending his voice to calls for judicial autonomy, Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi, Senior Advocate, says a national policy summit on justice is in the offing to streamline the sector's operations.
The will in this regard seeks to examine the current challenges within the justice sector institutions with the objective of supporting critical reforms necessary to build a resilient justice system.
The Attorney Generals are positive that with stakeholders' collaboration, justice will be seen to have been served to all. In Abuja, Olaboderewa, NTA News.
Now heading to the courtroom, the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory has adjourned the trial of the former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria to January 18, 2024 for the continuation of trial. Godwin Emefiele is standing trial on a 6-count charge bordering on fraud preferred against him by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. Due to his inability to perfect his bail, the former CBN governor, Godwin Emefiele, will remain in the correctional center for failing to meet the 300 million naira bail condition. Emefiele's counsel, Matthew Buka, SEN, had secured the application for his bail earlier. Emefiele is standing trial before Justice Hamza Muazu. And away from the courtroom now, every domain and circumstance has inherent advantages. So build synergy with host communities and relevant agents of development to upgrade services in every directorate, zonal and state station to the level of modern broadcasting. Director General of Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, Salihu Abdul Hamid Dembos, implores management staff of the authority at Day 2 of NTA 2023 Management Conference and Retreat. Joseph Hotsen reports.
First day of this year's NTA Management Conference had intensive interactions with media experts on strategies that will sustain NTA on top of the media space. On day 2, top ranks of the organization search deep to appraise self. Much successes are recorded with upgrading of production facilities to high definition, provision of modern equipment, and training resulting to improved output. But the Director General of NTA, Salihu Abdul Hamid Dembos, wants the substations to up their games and replicate same.
Of the establishment of those stations in those states and also at the senatorial levels will be defeated because they need to be communicated in a language that they will understand. They need to also participate as stakeholders.
The take-home is to fill the pulse of host communities and producing programs that benefit them to attract their commitment to NTA stations across the country.
It may not really be the problem of the people outside, but what am I supposed to do that I'm not doing? Am I not listening enough? Am I probably listening too much? So those are part of the things I think we're going to look into.
It's seen as one of the leading centers of this banditry as a result of drug abuse, unemployment, lack of proper moral upbringing and rest. Therefore, our focus will now serve as a program to educate the youth.
We must have a strong presence online so that especially we carry the youth along.
We must continue to provide very good platform for Nigerians to give the government feedback.
The 2023 NTA Management Conference rounds up with a communique to serve as a template for 1 year. In Abuja, Joseph Utsen, NTA News.
Looking at other issues now, for the present administration to deliver dividends of democracy to Nigerians through the 8-point agenda, every sector of the economy must cooperate. Minister of Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs, Zephaniah Giselo, was speaking at the annual conference of functionaries and key actors in local government administration in Abuja. Kenneth Nanim reports that the event was also to mark 100 days in office of the minister.
The local government is designed in a way that allows the rural dwellers feel the impact of democracy through its administration. But in most times, the reverse is the case. Meanwhile, lack of administrative and financial autonomy, corruption and inadequate capacity of personnel have been identified as some of the challenges confronting local government administration in Nigeria.
I want to call on the local government administrators here present. Look beyond the funding, look beyond what you get from the states, which is already staffed for now. Build bridges work with civil society organizations, get funding outside of your allocation.
The permanent secretary and heads of agencies under the ministry took turns to evaluate work done so far to ensure that the people at the grassroots feel the impact of government.
The Honorable Minister has submitted a memorandum to the Federal Executive Council, FEC, proposing the establishment of the National Council of Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs.
Some of the achievements of the minister within 100 days in office was also captured.
The ministry will make a better society for Nigerian citizens with the cooperation of all the MDS.
Recommendations that will be drafted at the end of the section is expected to reposition governance and promote citizens' welfare, especially in the rural areas. Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
Let's pause here in Abuja and let Hingino feed us from Lagos. Hingino, it's over to you.
Thank you, Ian Ray. His Royal Majesty the Oba of Benin, Oba Eware II, has called on Nigerians to embrace peace and patiently support President Bola Tinubu's quest to achieve a better and greater Nigeria. The first-class traditional ruler made the call when he paid a courtesy visit on the Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu at the State House in Marina. Ese Onwamaka reports.
His Royal Majesty Oba Eware II, accompanied on the visit by palace chiefs, congratulated Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu on his re-election and his government's giant strides in Lagos State. While urging Nigerians to be patriotic and maintain peaceful coexistence, the Royal Father says if given the needed support, the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Tinubu will deliver the dividends of democracy and achieve sustainable development in the country.
Don't like controversy. I like peace, tranquility. We're all one. We're all together. We are all Nigerians. And that's why it's important for Nigerians to know that diversity is important, is very, very good for Nigeria.
Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu expressed gratitude for the Royal Father's visit, assuring that Lagos State would continue to be home to all, irrespective of ethnic, religious or political affiliations.
We are beginning to see some of his interventions. Just last week, we saw another quarter of GDP growth in the country, right? Where the GDP growth has improved from what it was the last 1 and 2 quarters. The third quarter looks very, very well, but we said to him that he still has to do a lot more. So we're believing that with him at the helm of affairs, and like you said, sir, he has clear sight to govern well. And I will believe that he will do a good job.
Oba Eware II was later conducted on a tour of the State Museum. In Lagos, S.C. Owamaka, NT News.
Efforts by the federal government to reshape the energy landscape through adoption of compressed natural gas for vehicles is gathering momentum with the groundbreaking inauguration of the Portland Gas Limited Green Park and CNG Conversion Center in Ojota, Lagos. Joel Pupola reports that the company and its associates are leveraging the abundant gas resources in Nigeria to create jobs and reduce dependence on petrol.
Since the removal of subsidies, sustenance of vehicles on petrol has become an Herculean task for many Nigerians. And companies like Portland Gas Limited have been thinking outside the box for cheaper alternatives. With the inauguration of this Portland Gas Limited Conversion and Training Center, operational costs of vehicles will reduce by more than 50% due to the clean energy it offers. The Chief Executive Officer Folajimi Lai Mohammed, son of former Minister of Information, urged Nigerians to align with the rest of the world. He stated further that the benefits accruable from it cannot be overemphasized.
When you compare the price of CNG right now, which ranges between 270 300, you can certainly say it's a lot of comparative savings. What we're going to be achieving is a reduction in greenhouse gas emission. In terms of safety, it's extremely safe.
Key players are of the opinion that the initiative will reshape the landscape of the nation's oil and gas sector.
All I see is a one-stop shop that promotes gas really as the future, that promotes gas as a catalyst for energy efficiency in Nigeria.
It even has an EV, electronic vehicles, charging points, and then gas generators. So all this is part of the infrastructure facilitation of the presidential initiative to deepen and widen the use of CNG in Nigeria.
So it's very important that Nigerians partake in it, not just as bystanders, but as practitioners.
Other projects inaugurated include various eco-friendly power generating systems that are in compliance with international best practices. In Lagos, Joel Okbola, NTA News.
That's it from here. Benny Adams is standing by with business news.
It's time to talk business, and amid conversations around the 2024 proposed budget of 27.5 trillion naira, experts say the proposed 1 trillion naira economy in the next 3 years is possible, with just a bit of concentration on solid minerals among others.
Trillion. Just from our mineral resources alone, we are totally, endowed with over 3 billion metric tons of coal. If we are selling at $100, for 1 metric ton, and we are selling only 100 billion metric tons, how much would that be? That would be in the excess of $100 trillion. Ditto for iron ore, ditto for limestone. I think we should move towards now being more innovative, first in our skill development and developing our people, equipping them with the right skills. Second, identifying those areas that will have comparative advantage. We rule the world, in tin production. We rule the world in oil palm production.
And a quick look at the energy market. Oil prices rose slightly on Tuesday due to a weak dollar and expectations of that OPEC Plus producer group would deepen and extend output cuts due to fears that demand would remain subdued. Brent crude futures were up 11 cents at $80.09 a barrel. U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude futures were trading 4 cents higher at $74.90 a barrel. Both benchmarks paired some gains after rising sharply in early Asian trade. And a quick look at the markets. Investors are beginning to take profit as the market all-share index falls by 0.44%. A total of 534.6 million shares in 8,136 deals, corresponding to a market value of 5.619 billion naira, were traded. Today's data shows 28% decline in volume, 5% decline in turnover, and 12% decline in deals. The current market capitalization is 38.9 trillion naira. Access Holdings recorded the highest volume of 52.4 million traded shares, followed by Transcorp Nigeria 46.6 million and Upcredit Real Estate Investment Trust at 46.2 million. That is Business News. Network News continues.
Many thanks, Benny, for the update. Now let's talk education. The federal government has put in place a robust strategy that will make it difficult for an adolescent girl to drop out of school to enable her realize her potential and contribute to national development. This forms the thrust of National Project Steering Committee of the Adolescent Girls Initiative for Learning and Empowerment, Agile. Abdullahi Musa Suleja reports.
Young women in Nigeria have fewer educational opportunities for a good number of reasons. What is of topmost concern to the government is the girls' transition from primary to secondary school level.
Ensure that we recruit the right teachers.
If we can help Nigeria invest in the daughter, in the adolescent girls, the future could be so different.
Because I'm certain that organizations like the World Bank won't put their money in a project twice if they're not sure that it's impactful.
It is also aimed at strengthening systemic reforms in areas such as school infrastructural development for expansion of access, teacher development, equipping girls with life skills, and provision of financial incentives, among other areas of human capital development.
Apart from education, ministers of youth, finance, health, women and humanitarian affairs, as well as commissioners for education from states, are members of the World Bank Target Project.
We have a project here which is fantastic, amazing achievements.
I want to plead with the state, because a lot of times when you have programs coming from the federal, the weakest link becomes the state chapters. Please don't allow this project to have any handicap in your states. I want to use the opportunity to inaugurate the National Steering Committee for this project.
Supported by the World Bank, the project is expected to improve the quality of learning and also empower the adolescent girl in Nigeria. Abdullahi Musa Suleja, NTA News.
Thank you for staying. Ahead of the 2024 African Cup of Nations, scheduled for Cote d'Ivoire in January, this with Nigeria's Super Eagles as one of the major teams. Razzle, the dynamic and vibrant beverage brand recognized for its unique taste, has been announced as the exclusive official African soft drink for the tournament. Gift George was at the major briefing in Lagos where the brand unveiled its plans to make the African Cup of Nations a memorable one for the national teams, football fans and the media that will be following the competition.
An inspiration to discover oneself and be original. The African Cup of Nations in Cote d'Ivoire come January, with about 500 million viewership across the globe, provided a unique platform for the partnership with its aspirations to become a Pan-African brand.
Our goal is to be a total beverage company across Africa. And what else could be a better springboard, to launch your brand across Africa than partnering with CAF? I mean, football and African Cup of Nations, to the best of my knowledge and with the data I have, remains one of the biggest events on the continent. And we want to use it as a springboard to connect with our consumers across Africa.
This remarkable collaboration with CAF is a significant milestone for Razzle brand as the exclusive official soft drink. Razzle will infuse the African Cup of Nations with its 5 exhilarating flavors and refreshing presence, enhancing the overall experience for football fans as well as players, not only quenching their thirst, but to live the exciting moments of the African Cup of Nations.
Brand is truly poised to be the fastest growing and highest performing brand of CSD in Nigeria. Here you have an authentic African brand that is partnering with the most exciting, most colorful football event in Africa. And there could be no stronger partnership. So we are going to be seeing a more exciting, more colorful AFCON championship.
When you get to the game, because we are the official soft drink sponsor, it's just going to be Razzle that you're going to find in the entire stadium to refresh the spectators and consumers.
As part of the activation, Razzle will unveil its freestyle football challenge for youthful freestylers and fans, including promos, which will have the very best selected for an all-expense paid trip to Cote d'Ivoire for the 2024 Africa Cup of Nations. In Lagos, Gift George, NTA News.
Let's now have more sports news.